So, I will start the brand new series. The series name is, What If Vivi is Slave of Naruto? I hope you have enjoying my old video, so do not wasting any more time, let's start the video. Naruto ran as fast as his little 5-year-old legs could carry him. He kept running, not even looking back. Release me, and I will make them go away, whispered a soothing voice. Who said that? Said Naruto as a beer bottle hit the ground right in front of him. He surprised himself as he was able to jump a clear foot into the air over the glass and continue running. Trust me, if you release me, then I will make sure no one ever bothers you again. You will be free. Trust me, said the voice. It's a dead end up ahead. That demon has nowhere to go. Okay, I release you. Please help me get out of here, shouted Naruto. His body froze as dark crimson chakra swirled around him. Ah! The little boy screamed as his body was ripped to pieces by the vile chakra. That is all he could remember before everything went black. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and found himself staring at an unfamiliar ceiling. He blinked a few times, wondering where he was. Strange. He couldn't remember anything except for his name, Uzumaki Naruto. Nothing else, not what he was doing here, how he got here, or anything else for that matter. I wonder what happened to me, he thought as he stared down at his heavily bandaged chest. Strange, he didn't feel hurt or anything. He hopped out of bed and grimaced a bit. Okay, maybe he is injured a bit. Still, he wanted to find out where he was. Like all children his age, he had the inability to stay still and a huge deal of curiosity. Opening the door, he headed into the next room. It was a nice living room area. A curious look appeared in his eyes as he realized no one was home. Did he live here? The sounds of something coming outside made him turn around just as the door opened, and in walked a tall, handsome man wearing a white jacket. Naruto tilted his head curiously as the man had short black hair, a bit on the thin side, and brown eyes. Oh, I see you are awake, smiled the man. I am Dr. Higurashi. I don't think you should be out of bed with the type of injuries I found on you. Tell me, were you attacked by a wild animal? I don't know, blinked Naruto, scratching the back of his head. Dr. Higurashi frowned as he pulled out a small flashlight and walked over to Naruto. He gave the boy a reassuring smile before kneeling down. Keep your eyes open for me and follow the light. Naruto blinked a few times, uncomfortable, before doing as he was told. It seems you are fine, mentally. I think perhaps you are suffering from amnesia, not surprising taking into account how you were found. A confused look appeared in Naruto's eyes. Forgive me. Amnesia means that you are suffering from memory loss. Do you remember anything at all? Smiled Dr. Higurashi. Naruto shook his head. I remember my name, Uzumaki Naruto. Well, that is a start. I shall ask around to see if you have any relatives within the other town on the island. It may take a few days, so until then you can stay here, smiled Dr. Higurashi. Arigato, smiled Naruto brightly. A loud grumbling sound came from Naruto's stomach and Dr. Higurashi chuckled before brining the boy over to the kitchen to get something to eat. 3 years later, the door to the tavern swung open and in ran a small 8-year-old boy. He had short blonde hair with light red streaks in it. His eyes were a sparkling ocean blue. A large fox-like grin graced his face as he ran past the patrons and jumped onto a stool. Hey old man, have you seen Pirate-san around? Grinned Naruto. My name is Grim, not old man, grumbled a tall fat man with a frown. Grim owned Grim's Tavern in Shirmaki Town, a man who was known to not care who he catered to as long as they followed his rule of no violence. Bob is over there. Grim pointed to a booth where a man in his early 60s sat drinking down a pint of rum. He had a white beard that fell down to his chest and a faraway look in his eyes. The old man wore a red pirate outfit, and had a sword hanging from his waist along with a pair of pistols. Naruto hopped off the stool and over to the booth. Pirate-san, can you tell me another story about the Grand Line? Please. Bob raised his tired old eyes and smiled slightly as he looked upon the grinning Naruto. Ever since he had came here 2 weeks ago, the boy had been hounding him for stories of his adventures, especially when he had told the boy that he and his crew had traveled through the first half of the Grand Line. Don't you have anything better to do than bother me? How about friends or school? Grunted Bob, pretending to be annoyed by Naruto's presence. Meh, school is boring. My friends just want to play. I want to become a pirate and travel the world just like you. This place is so boring, pouted Naruto. A hearty laugh escaped Bob. So young, so full of life. Being a pirate isn't easy, lad. I know my stories sound fun and full of adventure, but the danger out there, talking the talk is easy, walking the walk. Now that's the hard part. So many of my friends and I were unprepared for the Grand Line and many of us were lost. A hard life a pirate's life is, said Bob seriously. A look of understanding appeared in Naruto's eyes. I understand. I watch people die all the time from illnesses or injuries that Dr. Sand can't heal. But I don't want to worry about things like that. We all die. I just want to enjoy it while I can. I dream of going on the greatest adventure ever, meeting tons of new people, fighting strong opponents, and kicking their butts, grinned Naruto. Bob smirked. This kid had what it took to be a pirate. As long as he carried that attitude, he could see this kid becoming one of the greatest pirates ever. All he needed is the proper training and guidance. You want to do something fun? How about you and I get out of here and I teach you how to use a sword? I may not be the best swordsman in the lands, but I am pretty damn good. Naruto grinned widely and nodded vigorously. The two left the tavern with Bob laughing at Naruto's enthusiasm. 2 years later woods. Naruto sat on the ground patiently as Bob taught him all he knew about the world government, Marines, and Grand Line. Bob may not have ever fully explored the Grand Line, but he had managed to make it through the first half before his crew was killed in what was now known as the New World. Not many knew it, but Bob had a bounty of 85 million berry on his head. In fact, no one on this island knew it that Bob had been a rather infamous and powerful pirate back in his younger days. The world government controls the Marines, who have most of their forces in the Grand Line. They are Marines in each of the 4 oceans, but they are nothing to the forces located in the Grand Line, said Bob, taking a swing from his flask. If the Grand Line is so hard to navigate through, then how come so many Marines are able to do so? Asked Naruto curiously. Simple, they have ways to move through the calm belt, and use eternal poses to get to whatever island they need to. Now, there are many uncharted islands, but once you have an eternal pose to somewhere, you don't need to wait like you do with a log pose, explained Bob. Naruto frowned. Doesn't seem fair. Bob laughed. Nothing in life is. A pirate's life is all about facing insurmountable odds and overcoming them. Life ain't fair, boy. You either accept that, or be crushed by the weight of the world. A grin appeared on Naruto's face, unafraid. Tell me more about devil fruit, grinned Naruto. Leaning back, Bob told him the limited knowledge that he knew. Not much is known about them. Heck, all I know is that when you find a weirdly colored fruit that tastes absolutely horrible, you probably just ate a devil fruit. Each fruit is different. Impossible to tell what will become of you until you take a bite. Bob's eyes became hard and serious. In the Grand Line, be prepared to fight those who have weak powers of turning into slime to those who can call upon the very forces of nature. The weakness of all devil fruit users is the ocean, of course. They are all hammers in the water. But no true warrior will be stupid enough to land in the ocean. Listen closely because this is the best advice I will ever give you. Naruto leaned in close. Everyone has a weakness, smirked Bob. Huh, everyone has a weakness. No one in this world is a god. Everyone, and I mean goddamn everyone, has a weakness. Do you think Gold Roger became Pirate King without any devil fruit powers off of pure luck? Hell no. Bob pointed his finger at Naruto and spoke with a hard voice. That man never gave up and always fought on. He knew better than anyone that there is always a way to win. One just needs to look for it. He pointed at his head. I guarantee if you use your head to win a fight, then there is no one in the world you can't beat, smirked Bob. A fox-like grin appeared on Naruto's face. I plan on being one of the strongest with or without a devil fruit, though it would be cool to have some awesome power, grinned Naruto. Then you wouldn't be able to swim, smirked Bob. Oh well, I was never good at swimming. I feel like a hammer already in the water. The two burst out laughing. Break. Dr. Higurashi sat in his chair with a sad look in his eyes. The Marines had come to town today and they had took Bob, or should he say the infamous pirate cutthroat Bobby, whom had a 85 million berry bounty on his head. He had known the man's identity all along but had kept it secret, seeing how much Naruto loved to spend time with the former pirate who just wanted to live in peace for the remaining of his life. Naruto was out learning how to hunt from Kaiser, so he wasn't here when they came. It seemed he would have to be the one to break the news to Naruto. Dr. I am home, yelled Naruto, running inside with a large smile. Look, I managed to kill 2 rabbits, grinned Naruto proudly. I am proud. Put those in the kitchen sink and come back out here. I have something to give to you, smiled Dr. Higurashi. Naruto nodded as he did as he was told. The boy had become a son to him, and he hated to have to tell him this news. Bob is someone that Naruto idolized, and it was never easy to see one's idol disappear. The boy came running back and sat down on the couch next to him anxiously. Okay, so what do you want to give to me? Smiled Naruto. I want you to read this. It is a letter from a friend of ours, said Dr. Higurashi. Naruto didn't like that tone or look. Something bad had happened. Did Alex's dad finally die from that illness? Or was it something else? Dear lad, if you are reading this letter, then I guess the Marines have come for me, or I have been captured by a couple of bounty hunters. I could stay and fight them, but I am getting old and my fighting days are behind me. The truth is, I always knew this day would come, and I swore when it did, I wouldn't start a fuss. I had a good and long journey. I have no regrets. These last 2 years have been great. Being around you has reminded me of the days when I used to sail the sea, when nothing in the world mattered except drinking, partying, and drinking some more. Ha! The good times. Nothing lasts forever, and it is time for us to part ways. If you dare start crying like a baby or any of that other girly crap, I am going to pretend we never met when it comes to meet again in the afterlife. Think I am joking. Just do it and my ghost will kick your ass. Naruto smiled. Now listen up, lad. You got the spirit to become one of the best pirates. Not those rookies who talk big then run away at the slightest sign of danger. No, I see greatness in you, lad. If you don't want to become a pirate, at least don't become some pansy-ass marine. Or I'll kick your ass. Nah, I am kidding. Be whatever you want. Just make sure you live life to the fullest. Sail the seas, cutthroat Bobby. Naruto put down the letter and smiled. They took him while you were out. He didn't want to make a scene, so went quietly, said Dr. Higurashi. Hee, I'll have to kick his ass next time I see him for allowing a bunch of pansy-ass marines to take him in so easily, grinned Naruto. A light laugh escaped Dr. Higurashi. Naruto truly is something else. Yeah, I guess you will. But first, this is now yours, said Higurashi, standing up. He walked over to the fireplace and picked up a medium-sized antique box with rubies all over it. A confused look appeared in Naruto's eyes as his adopted father placed it down in his laps. That old pirate left it for you, said it was the greatest treasure he found while sailing the Grand Line, all the remains of his great adventure, wanted you to have it. Whatever it is now yours. Do with it as you please. Dr. Higurashi ruffled Naruto's hair before leaving Naruto alone with the box. Slowly, Naruto opened the box and his eyes widened. There inside the box was an albino white pear with red stem and leaves. He immediately knew what the item is. A devil fruit. That old pirate bastard had left him a devil fruit. There was a note on top of it which he picked up. Eat or don't eat. No one is invincible. Naruto grinned. Everyone had a weakness. That is what Bob made sure to ingrain into his head. Picking up the fruit, Naruto wondered which one it was. If it was something stupid like turning into jello, or if it was a cool one. Only one way to find out. When I get free from this, I am going to kill you both, glared Zoro, as he watched as Johnny and Usopp swam off when they saw the first signs of mermen. They left him tied to the mast of the small ship. Those damn cowards, he was going to make them pay for this. A humming sound reached his ears and he turned to see what that could be. Zoro turned his head to see a small single-man boat heading towards Arlong's park. In it was a man humming a song. He had long light blonde hair that fell down past his shoulders, a loosely-fitting orange shirt that hung open revealing his muscular chest, and a pair of black slacks. His eyes were closed as he hummed a light tune while relaxing in his boat. Hey pal, yelled Zoro. The man stopped humming and opened his eyes. A curious look appeared in the man's eyes. Yo, do you know that you are tied up? Pointed out the man. Zoro gained a tick. Of course I do. Can you give me a hand? Sure, smiled the man. He stood up, stretched his arms and legs. Zoro gained a slight twitch as the man took a good 3 to 5 minutes to stretch. Name is Uzumaki Naruto. Roronoa Zoro, now get me out of this. Naruto jumped from his ship and landed in front of Zoro. Just as he was about to untie the ropes, 3 blurs burst out of the water and landed on the ship. Look what we got here. A couple of humans, smirked one of the mermen. Yeah, one is already tied up for us, smirked another. This doesn't look good, blinked Naruto. I am going to kill Usopp and Johnny, thought Zoro. Arlong's park. Arlong smirked as he looked down at the 2 tied-up prisoners. What have we got here? A couple of humans. The merman laughed while Zoro frowned and Naruto tilted his head in confusion. What is a human? You humans are so filthy and disgusting that I decided to call you humans to describe what you truly are, laughed Arlong. This incited another round of laughter. Dude, that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. I have heard 3-year-olds come up with better insults, deadpan Naruto. An angry look appeared in Arlong's eyes. Zoro smirked. He is starting to like this Naruto. Man wasn't afraid of anything. What is going on out here? I can barely concentrate up in my room, demanded a feminine voice. Out from behind Arlong came a pretty orange-haired woman. Nami? What are you doing with him? Frowned Zoro. You know this man Nami? Asked Arlong. Nami smirked. Yeah, this is one of the pirates I tricked into believing I was his friend. What an idiot. Arlong and the others started to laugh as Nami looked down upon Zoro. She ignored Naruto, who blinked in confusion. Zoro's eyes widened as Nami showed him the tattoo on her upper right arm, the tattoo that was identical to the Jolly Roger that Arlong flew on his flag. So you really are with them. I thought you hated pirates. But it looks like that was all a scam, glared Zoro. Haha, idiot. I only joined you to get your treasure and money. Now that I got that, nothing else matters, smirked Nami. Haha, that's my girl. You would sell out your own mother as long as it meant making a quick berry, laughed Arlong and his gang. It was then that Naruto and Zoro noticed the look in her eyes. That look of pure hatred towards Arlong and his pirates. She was putting on an act. Why? They didn't know, but it had to be a really good reason to put up with this bunch of pirates. Really? Well then, if that's the case, Zoro never finished as he used his legs to jump back into the water. They were all surprised by this action. What a fool. Saves us the trouble of having to deal with him, laughed one of the mermen. Nami clenched her fists before kicking off her shoes and diving in. Arlong narrowed his eyes as Nami came back up with Zoro, who was coughing up water. Idiot. She started to kick Zoro over and over again where he had been injured by Mihawk. Zoro coughed up some blood as Nami looked down at him dispassionately. Haha, looks like you're not as all bad as you pretend to be, smirked Zoro before grunting as he was kicked again. I'm so confused. You hate humans yet you have some hot girl working for you? And then hot girl saves the swordsman. I'm so lost, frowned Naruto. Arlong looked right at Nami. What do you plan to do with these two? He completely ignored Naruto. Nami put her sandals back on and scowled as she looked at the two. Lock them up until I can find something to do with them. I'll make sure it is very painful. Arlong smirked, glad to see where her true loyalty lied. Hey swordsman, can we break free now, or is there something keeping us here? Asked Naruto. Zoro raised an eyebrow. You can get free? Naruto nodded. A tick appeared on Zoro's forehead. The merman grabbed the two and started to push them towards the dungeons located beneath Arlong Park. Too late now. Damn her for reopening my wounds. I need a bit of a break to rest, grumbled Zoro. Sure, I wouldn't feel right kicking all their asses when you seem to have some personal grudge against them, grinned Naruto. A smirk appeared on Zoro's face. Naruto reminded him a lot of Luffy, but just a bit smarter, though they both had the same carefree attitude. Cell. The doors to Zoro and Naruto's cell opened up. They both looked up to see Nami standing in the doorway. She tossed the knife that cut through the ropes binding Zoro before tossing his sword down in front of him. Get out here, just take your ship and leave. What is going on here doesn't concern you at all, okay? So just leave, ordered Nami angrily before leaving. That is one bipolar, hot chick, I like her, grinned Naruto, standing up the ropes that were binding him lying on the ground. How did you do that? Asked Zoro, placing his sword on his waist. Naruto blinked before Zoro pointed to the ropes. He grinned as bones in the shape of spikes started to emerge from his arms. Ate the hon no mi, bone fruit, allows me to manipulate the bones in my body however I want, explained Naruto. Sounds painful, winced Zoro slightly. Man, you have no idea how hard it was first learning to control my powers. But you know, eventually you'd get used to it, grinned Naruto. The two walked out of the cell and up the stairs leading out of the place. Naruto placed his hands behind his head. So, what is the plan? Do we just beat everyone up? Kill them? What do we do? Zoro smirked as he placed his hand on the hilt of his sword. I promised my captain I would bring back that idiot girl. Can't go and break a promise now. So, first thing I am going to do is kick all those talking fishes' asses, then look for Nami. Naruto grinned. Bet you I can take more out than you. You're on. Alright. The two ran outside to begin their contest. In less than 10 minutes, all the mermen were knocked out cold. Aha! I got one more than you, cheered Naruto victoriously. Zoro scowled. You got lucky is all. If the rest were here I would have won. Naruto just nodded, humoring the angry swordsman. Zoro had to admit, Naruto is a strong fighter. He didn't take a single hit and didn't even use his strange powers. Most devil fruit users that he had met or fought relied heavily on their powers. Naruto seemed to enjoy fighting whether using his powers or not. I got to say, I expected more. I heard mermen were physical stronger than humans in water and on land, said Naruto sitting down on the ground. Guess we ran into a weak bunch, said Zoro sitting down in Arlong's chair. That sucks, so what now? Wait for them to return or go looking for them? I hate waiting, said Naruto. Let's go into town. I need to look for some idiot nakama of mine and kick their ass, smirked Zoro. Naruto hopped to his feet and the two left Arlong's park. Gosa village. So, you are the one who had all the weapons? Smirked Arlong looking down upon the human. The merman towered over the man by at least 4 feet. Genzo looked up from his spot near the fountain as the pinwheel on his hat spun around by the sudden breeze. Hi, it was me. I am a mere collector of weapons, I always have been, he lied expertly. He was well aware what would happen to him but did not care so long as the other villagers weren't hurt. Arlong started to smirk widely as his large webbed hand grabbed Genzo by the throat and lifted him high into the air. Stupid Pooh Man, weapons aren't allowed. It could give people the wrong idea and start a rebellion. That is something I can't allow as it is my duty to protect this island and everyone on it. The fishmen laughed loudly. The villagers were about to step forward, but Genzo stopped them. No, none of you interfere. It is not your problem. We must remember our promise to not fight and create violence. This caused the merman to laugh even louder as Arlong tightened his grip around Genzo's neck. You're pretty smart for a Pooh Man. Still, I think it is time I made an example of you. Time to die, smirked Arlong. Stop. They all turned to see a pretty woman with lavender hair and a tattoo on her right arm that went across onto her chest. She had a hard look in her eyes. Leave Genzo alone. He has paid his tribute tax every month like the rest of us. Those weapons are just things he collects, that is all. There is no reason to harm him. Shouted Nojiko. Yeah, leave him alone, yelled the other villagers coming out of their homes. Arlong smirked. No. All turned to look at Genzo. Stop it now, otherwise we will all be killed. If you truly wish to honor me, then live. Don't throw your lives away needlessly. All the villagers gritted their teeth as Arlong and his mermen started to laugh. Arlong smirked. Time to die, Puman. Just as Arlong was about to finish Genzo, a whistling sound was heard. The large merman turned just in time to get hit by an exploding pellet. All turned to see a young man with a slight shot and long-shaped nose standing on the roof. Fear not, I, the brave warrior Usopp, shall take care of this, announced the man. I am going to kill him, roared Arlong. All the mermen grabbed hold of Arlong. Hurry, get the boss back to the base or he'll destroy the village. They all started to drag an angry Arlong back to Arlong Park before he went on a rampage. 3 fishmen gave chase after Usopp, who ran like a bat out of hell. Break. I'm bored, yawned Naruto. You do realize that technically you don't have to help me out, stated Zoro. I don't say that. If I left now, how would you ever get the chance to prove that me beating you in our last contest wasn't a fluke? Don't you want to know for sure that I am better than you? Naruto grinned widely. Zoro gained a tick. Watch it. Naruto laughed a bit before Zoro shut him up by pointing ahead. There up ahead was a town. They walked into town and Naruto blinked. Yo, what happened to that house? Zoro looked to see a destroyed house as if it had been hit by an earthquake. Yet every other home seemed to be fine. That is strange. Hey you, said Zoro walking up to one of the villagers. I am looking for Arlong. Have you seen him? Arlong, he just left after being attacked by some long-nosed guy with a slight shot, said a villager. Long-nose with a slingshot? Naruto tilted his head. That's Usopp, groaned Zoro. A village came running through the village panting heavily. What's wrong, Jim? Asked a villager. That long-nosed guy. I just saw him get captured by a group of fishmen. They took him to Arlong Park, panted Jim heavily. Zoro's eyes widened. That idiot. He'll be killed after what happened after we left. I have to hurry before he is killed. The swordsman took off with Naruto running right beside him. Mind explaining who Usopp is? Asked Naruto, matching Zoro's speed with ease. He is a friend and a nakama. That was all that needed to be said. The two picked up the speed. If the situation weren't so serious, Zoro would be impressed that Naruto is keeping pace without any problems. The two ran down the trail when a sudden noise made them stop. It sounded like someone was screaming. Both turned and their eyes widened as a small boat came crashing through the woods with a man with a straw hat yelling with a large smile, Zoro! Oh shit! Naruto/Zoro said before getting clobbered by the ship. It hit the side of small plateau and completely destroyed. We made it! Yelled Luffy with a large smile. Luffy! What the hell are you doing? Yelled Zoro angrily. Ah man, that hurt, but man was that awesome! Laughed Naruto. Luffy blinked in confusion. What do you mean? I came here to help you get Nami back. How come you haven't got Nami back yet? And where is Usopp and Johnny? Who is this guy? Asked Sanji pointing at Naruto. No time. We need to hurry. Usopp was captured by Arlong, and if we don't hurry he will be killed. Yelled Zoro about to run off. It's too late, Usopp is already dead, said Johnny showing up with tears streaming down his face. He fell to his knees as everyone turned to look at him. Johnny punched the ground. He is dead. Nami murdered him. A stunned look appeared in everyone's eyes except for Naruto, who truly didn't understand what was going on. What? Don't say something like that, yelled Luffy grabbing Johnny. Johnny continued to cry. I am not making it up, I saw it with my own eyes. She killed him. It seems she has been a member of Arlong's crew this whole time. Shut your mouth. Never in a million years would Nami kill Usopp. Yelled Luffy angrily. She would never do that to a friend. But, what was that you said about friends, Luffy? All turned to see Nami standing there with a bow staff. She had her arms folded across her chest. What are you doing here? Luffy blinked. What are we doing here? You are our friend, we came to get you. What a pest! Nami had an emotionless look in her eyes. I am so lost, stated Naruto. Me too, admitted Sanji. But doesn't Nami Swan look beautiful? Naruto's sweat dropped as a heart appeared in Sanji's eye. Friends, huh? Don't make me laugh. You are just pathetic enough to deserve each other. Damn you! You killed him! I watched you do it! Yelled Johnny pointing a finger at Nami. He started to shake. Now big bro Usopp is gone. Nami smiled. Yep, that's right. So why don't you kill me and get your revenge? Johnny stuttered in confusion. Word to the wise, because of your friend's stupidity, Arlong is prepared to kill Zoro and his crew. I don't care how monstrously strong you think you are. You are no match for the real monsters. Naruto scratched the back of his head. That was mean. I promise you that if you stay on this island you will die. So you have a choice to make, smirked Nami, life or death. Zoro glared angrily. Sanji was smiling. Her heartless face is so hot. Hi Nami, it's me Sanji. Let's run away together. Strange guy. But she is pretty hot, grinned Naruto. Nami, where is Usopp? Demanded Zoro. With the fishes. Cut the crap. He drew his sword and charged forward, but never got close when he was forced to dodge a kick from Sanji. What are you doing? How sad, a swordsman drawing his sword on a lady, frowned Sanji. Idiot, don't you see what is happening here? You are starting to piss me off. Sanji smirked. If someone had stopped me that easily I would be mad too. Zoro narrowed his eyes. What? Watch what you say or something bad might happen to you. Big bros, calm down. Now is not the time to be fighting, yelled Yasaka stepping between Sanji and Zoro. He's right, you outsiders have no right to interfere with the affairs of this island, don't you get it yet? The only reason I joined up with you is so I could rob you of everything you owned. Now that I have that there is really no reason for us to associate, stated Nami coldly. So go find some other lame navigator and go travel to the Grand Line. She pointed her staff right at them. Now leave here, you are an eyesore. Luffy looked at her before falling back on the ground. Big bro Luffy, shouted Yasaka and Johnny. I'm sleepy. How can you sleep at a time like this? A nap does sound good, said Naruto finding a seat in the shade. I am tired, don't want to butt into their affairs. But I am not leaving either. Good night, said Luffy closing his eyes. Nami clenched her fist. Fine. Whatever. Just go ahead and die. She ran off, not bothering to look back. Naruto leaned back and put his hands behind his head. So, is this your whole crew, Zoro? A sigh escaped Zoro as he took a seat on the ground. Yeah, guy lying down in the middle of the road is our Captain Luffy. Johnny and Yasaka are old bounty hunter partners of mine. The idiot with the cigarette is our chef. Cool, big bro Zoro, we should leave the island. Now that we know the truth about Nami, there is no reason to stay here. My reason for staying is right there. Zoro looked at Luffy, who was sleeping. As long as he stays, so do I. If you two want to leave, then go. Fine, you stay. But I am not. My role as a guide comes to an end, said Johnny. Yeah, I am with him. Guess this cuts our reunion short, said Yasaka. The two bounty hunters waved goodbye as Zoro turned to look at Luffy, who continued to sleep. Can you make ramen? Asked Naruto. I can make anything, said Sanji, but ramen is the best food in the world. Why would you want to make anything else? Grinned Naruto. Sanji raised an eyebrow. Ramen is not the best thing in the world. Yes it is. No it isn't. It is not, is to, is not, is to, is not. Shut up. You are both giving me a headache, yelled Zoro angrily. Naruto and Sanji fell silent. Is to? Sanji glared as Naruto looked away innocently, pretending as if he hadn't said a thing. You said Usopp had a long nose, right? Blinked Naruto. Yeah, why? Asked Zoro. Naruto lifted a finger and pointed down the road. Zoro and Sanji turned to see Usopp running towards them. I knew she couldn't have killed him. Nami Swan is a sweet girl, smiled Sanji. Zoro. Luffy! Yelled Usopp. Luffy woke up slowly and Usopp, unable to stop in time, tripped over the young pirate captain. Usopp! Did Nami do this to you? He lifted Usopp up, who now had a bent nose from crashing face first into the ground. Naruto laughed loudly while Zoro and Sanji shook their heads. You know, we kind of heard you were dead, said Zoro. Stupid Johnny, he was spouting nonsense that entire time, yelled Luffy. Well, in a way it's the truth, but I am alive, because she saved my life, said Usopp. Break. Nojiko walked towards her house after tending to the tangerine trees. She saw a teapot being thrown out the window and frowned. Walking into her home, she looked to see her sister sitting at the table with a treasure map in front of her. Mind telling me what is wrong? Said Nojiko, taking a seat across from Nami. Nothing, just a little upset is all, lied Nami. Those guys, huh? Nami looked up with wide eyes. You know? Yeah, that one with the long nose, Usopp. I spoke to him. He told me that you were their nakama. Told me you laughed and smiled, smirked Nojiko. Nami looked away, not meeting her sister's eyes. I thought he was crazy, but I guess he was telling the truth, seeing as how you are here. Come on, tell me who these guys are. A silence reigned between the two. I had planned to forget about them. I wanted to erase them from my mind. Nojiko listened closely. The more I stayed with them, I just kept having more and more fun. For the first time in years, I felt free. The truth is, if it were possible, I would join up with those guys and sail around the world. Nami fell asleep with Nojiko looking down at her fondly. Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, Sanji, Naruto. So that is how Nami saved my life. It appears she has some hidden agenda, said Usopp. Man, you guys sure have some crazy times. But I don't think this concerns me. I'll see you all around, grinned Naruto, giving a small wave. Luffy blinked. Who was that? Everyone face faulted, as Naruto had been here the entire time, and now he just noticed him? How slow could Luffy be? Naruto walked away with a large fox-like grin. Man, I am starving. I think I'll go get something to eat. I wonder if they have any ramen here. Arlong Park. Arlong! All the fishmen turned to see Nami with a look of pure anger in her eyes as she ran towards Arlong. The leader of the fishmen wasn't in the least bit intimidated and smirked. Nami, you seem upset. What is wrong? Smirked Arlong. Nami clenched her fists. We had a deal. I give you 100 million berry and you hand over the village to me. You promised. She was breathing heavily while the other fishmen started to smirk. Arlong smirked widely. Yes, I remember that deal. Have you got the money? The Marines took it. They were being paid off by you. Can you prove it? Nami's eyes widened as Arlong started to laugh. Soon the other fishmen started to laugh as well. Did you really think I would let you go so easily? You belong to me. Arlong continued to laugh as Nami stood there frozen. Go, collect me more money. I did promise that I didn't care how long it took you. While you are collecting the money, don't forget to draw me my maps. They all laughed loudly as Nami went running off. Tears streamed down her face as she ran back towards the village as fast as possible. She didn't even notice as she ran past the familiar blonde-haired man who was walking calmly towards Arlong Park. He whistled a light tune as he continued on his path. Man, that had been some good ramen that they had served. Am I going the right way? Blinked Naruto. He shrugged and followed the road at a slow pace as he thought of all the ramen he would get once he got his boat back. What should have been a 5-minute walk turned into a 15-minute daydream. Pathetic. You weaklings don't come back here or next time we will finish you off. Naruto tilted his head as he saw two familiar men get thrown out of Arlong Parks. Johnny and Isaka were their names if he remembered correctly. They looked like they had seen better days. You both look like you got your asses kicked, stated Naruto, looking down at each man. Have you come to avenge Nami as well? Grunted Johnny. Nope, I came here to get my ship back, smiled Naruto. Your ship? Blinked Yosaku. Yep, they took my ship when they captured me earlier. I came to get it back. Nice to see you two again. Johnny and Yosaku watched as Naruto entered Arlong Park humming an unfamiliar tune. Arlong and his fishmen turned to see Naruto humming a tune. His eyes lit up in delight upon seeing the human that had managed to escape them. A smirk appeared on his face as his men surrounded Naruto. Haha, thank you for saving me the trouble of having to find you. For that I will grant you a quick death, smirked Arlong. Actually, I came here to get my ship. I want it back, smiled Naruto. Ah, laughed Arlong and his men. Fool, we destroyed your puny ship after capturing you. And even if we didn't, do you really think I would give it back to you? Naruto frowned. Well then you owe me a new ship. I'll just take whatever you got, I'm not picky. Fool, you are not leaving here alive, said a fishman wearing a blue karate gi. Listen, I really don't want to have to kick your asses again. It was barely fun the first time, sighed Naruto. That earned him angry glares. They were about to attack when a loud banging sound was heard. All turned just in time to see the wall be destroyed, and there standing with his fists forward was Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, and the villagers from the town stood behind him. I am looking for Arlong, said Luffy. Did he take your ship as well? Asked Naruto. This made everyone's sweat drop. You came here for your ship? Said Zoro. Yeah, remember they took it after we got caught. I want it back, smiled Naruto turning to face Zoro. The fishmen took this time to attack, running towards Naruto with his back turned. Look out! Yelled Nojiko. Naruto just continued to grin. The 4 fishmen who tried to sneak up on Naruto froze inches from him. They stood there with their eyes wide in horror. There stood Naruto with 10 bone spikes 2 feet long and 3 inches thick sticking out of his back, piercing through each fishman. A dark look appeared in Naruto's eyes. Only cowards attack a person when their back is turned. I can't stand cowards, said Naruto coldly, turning his head. All 4 fishmen were shot backwards as the spikes propelled from Naruto's back, launching them at their friends who dived out of the way. A devil fruit user, said Arlong. Whoa, that was so cool. Hey, become my nakama, yelled Luffy with a large smile. Idiot, now is not the time for that, yelled Zoro. Naruto blinked and shrugged. Sure, but the chef there has to make me a big bowl of ramen. No way. Deal, grinned Luffy. Sanji kicked Luffy in the head. So guess the question is now, who gets to fight who? Grinned Naruto. 2 bones in the shape of handles slowly emerged from his shoulder blades. He grabbed each bone handle and pulled them out, revealing them to be bones in the shape of swords. Oh Zoro, you're not the only one who knows how to fight with a sword. Zoro smirked as he drew his own blade while Luffy used his Gomu Gomu no pistol to punch Arlong right across the face. Belmir's grave. Nami couldn't believe it. After 8 years of stealing and working for that bastard Arlong, it was all over. Arlong had been defeated. Now here she sat in front of her mother's grave as the village celebrated the defeat of Arlong. A large smile appeared on her face as she stared at the grave. Finally her village was free, and to add in an extra bonus, Luffy had gone out of his way beat up a corrupt bunch of Marines who had tried to steal all the money she had gathered over the 8 years. I figured I would find you here, stated Genzo, a smirk settling on his face. Of course, smirked Nojiko, coming up besides Genzo. I take you plan on joining that pirate crew, huh? A large smirk appeared on Nami's face. What do you think? Do you think she would have approved? Asked Nami. Nojiko turned to look at Genzo. Ha, she would have never let you become. Yes, stated Nojiko, interrupting the older man. He looked at her surprised. She would have wanted you to do what made you happy. Besides, even if she did say no, would you listen to her? Nami stuck her tongue out and laughed. No way. Genzo started to laugh. Nami and Nojiko looked at him curiously. You two truly are Belmir's daughters. He laughed even harder as he remembered when Belmir had left the village to join the Marines. They were both so much like her. Break. Wow, this is your ship? It is way cooler than mine, grinned Naruto. Yeah, this is the Going Merry, the ship that is going to sail through the entire Grand Line, said Usopp proudly. I'm so hungry. Is there any more meat? Groaned Luffy. I just cooked the last of the food, stated Sanji regretfully. Nami pulled out a map and laid it out on the deck. She pointed her finger at a small island. Here, there's an island called Loguetown. Luffy looked at her curiously. Are they famous for their meat? He asked hopefully. Naruto smirked because he liked Luffy. The man had his priorities straight. Food before all else. Now if only he could truly understand that ramen is the food of gods, then all would be perfect. I hear it is called the beginning and the ending town, said Zoro. This is the place where Pirate King Gold D. Roger was born, and where he was executed, said Nami. Gold D. Roger? The Pirate King was killed there? Whispered Luffy in awe. Man, that is so cool, grinned Naruto excitedly. A smirk appeared on Nami's face. Want to go? Luffy had a hard look in his eyes. Let's go. I want to see where the man who had everything, the man who was known as the King of Pirates, was last at. Smiled Luffy. Loguetown. The crew of 6 stood at the entrance to Loguetown after docking the Going Merry. It was a very large town, much bigger than Cocoa Village. Wow, this place is huge, gasped Usopp. Yep, this is where all pirates come to stock up before heading to the Grand Line. We should be able to find everything we need here, smiled Nami. She was thinking of all the people she could rob, then use their money to buy what she wanted. It was the perfect plan. Ah, I want to go see it. The place where the Pirate King died, shouted Luffy, taking off running. Wait, we haven't decided what to do, yelled Usopp. It didn't make a difference as Luffy had a one-track mind. Geez, he really doesn't listen. Zoro shrugged. It doesn't matter, I have something that I need to buy as well. Oh, how do you plan to do that? You are totally broke, teased Nami. The swordsman frowned. That was a problem. Unlike Nami, he wasn't very good at stealing, so he would have to find another way to make the money. I would lend you some money, but I only have enough for myself, to tell the truth. I need to get some new clothes. Apologized Naruto. Zoro cursed inwardly as Nami smiled while holding out 100,000 berry. Marine base at Loguetown. Sir. Captain Smoker. We have an emergency alert from Marine headquarters, shouted a Marine. He coughed a bit as he entered a room full of smoke, not steam, but smoke. In the middle of the room, lying down, was a large man with short white hair. He opened his mouth and waves of smoke came out of it. What is the alert? Asked Captain Smoker, not liking to be interrupted. The Marine saluted. Sir, we have just received word from Marine headquarters that Straw Hat Monkey D. Luffy and his pirates are heading for Loguetown. Captain Smoker stood up as the smoke in the room intensified. It seems I will have some more pirates to catch. Tell Marine headquarters that I will deal with it, said Smoker. The Marine saluted and went off to report. If there's one thing that Smoker hated, it was pirates. Break. A large smile appeared on Luffy's face. He had finally found it. The gallows where the Pirate King had been killed. It was so awesome. This is where he died. Now I just need to get to the top, smiled Luffy. Wait, how was he going to get up there? It was so tall. Oh yeah, he would climb up. Smoker pushed past the people watching as some fool tried to climb the gallows. He smirked as he recognized that certain idiot, Monkey D. Luffy, the pirate worth 30 million berry. To be honest, he was a bit young to be worth so much, but that must mean that he was very strong. Perhaps he would finally get a challenge, though he doubted it. Hey you're Monkey D. Luffy, right? The pirate, said Smoker, somehow able to speak just fine despite the 2 large cigars in his mouth. Luffy turned around and blinked curiously. Me? Yeah, I am a pirate, he answered. The name is Smoker. I am captain of the Marine base that is stationed here. I have come to arrest you, said Smoker. Oh? I refuse. I am going to be the Pirate King, so I can't be arrested, smiled Luffy. Smoker frowned. Pirate King? Hi. I am going to the Grand Line. Someone as young as you become Pirate King? I was here 20 years ago when the Pirate King was killed. For someone like you who hasn't even been to the Grand Line to claim they will be Pirate King is a joke, stated Smoker. If you truly want to be Pirate King, then you have to beat me. If you can't beat me, then you have no right going to the Grand Line. Luffy smiled largely. So I just have to beat you, do I? Alright then. He was about to attack when he started to fall and bounced around. Smoker's eyes widened. So he is a rubber man? A devil fruit user like me. Maybe this would be a challenge after all. Ah crap, I'm stuck, yelled Luffy, trying to get free. He finally managed to get free and fell right on top of his head. What is he doing? Frowned the captain. Okay. I'm ready. Luffy brought back his arm and shot it forward. Captain Smoker jumped over it as it hit the ground, forming an indentation. Too slow, smirked Smoker, appearing beside Luffy and punching him in the face. The Straw Hat Pirate flew for a bit before smirking as he gained his balance and fired another pistol punch. Smoker dodged it with ease, kicking Luffy right in the chest before delivering a punch to the face. Pathetic? You are worth 30 million berry? I don't even have to use my powers. scowled Smoker. Luffy stood up and smirked widely as he brought back his leg and swung it forward. Smoker ducked around it, and it got wrapped around a fountain. Oh, blinked Luffy before yelling as he was shot off into the distance. What is up with him? Muttered Smoker. Monkey D. Luffy had to be the strangest pirate that he had ever met. Elsewhere, Naruto grinned happily as he checked out his new outfit. A simple white shirt with no sleeves and was cut down the middle on both sides. This allowed him to move it out of the way so that when he used his powers he would rip or poke holes in it. Plus he now wore a pair of black pants that were bandages up at the bottom near his ankles. To finish the outfit he wore his favorite open-toed sandals that Dr. Higurashi had customized for him that let his toes breathe. He just hated regular shoes and those floppy sandals were a big no. These sandals were perfect with rubber soles and very comfortable. I'll take 3 more pairs of these shirts in red, blue, and purple. Plus, I want 5 more pairs of these pants in white and black, grinned Naruto. That'll be 200 berry. Anything else, sir? Asked the lady with a friendly smile. Oh yeah, is there anywhere around here where I can have shoes made for me? I would like to get a few extra pair of these sandals made for me, smiled Naruto. There is a shoe store near the gallows, but I am not sure they do special custom jobs, answered the woman. Naruto sighed. Just his luck. Oh well, just have to send Higurashi Tausen a letter and ask for him to deliver more through Yami. Yami was a large eagle that Naruto had made friends with while in the woods of his home island. It would sometime deliver packages for him, he never know how, but somehow that bird was always able to find him no matter where he was. Thank you, smiled Naruto, taking his bag of clothes and leaving. Time to check out the gallows. Luffy wasn't the only one who wanted to see them. He started to whistle a light tune. Naruto disappeared into his own world as people started to run by him in the opposite direction. They were screaming about something, but he tuned it out, not his problem. Man, he wished someone on the crew could play an instrument of some sort. That would be so cool. A musician, that is what they really needed. Naruto grinned as he arrived at the gallows before blinking at the sight in front of him. Buggy laughed loudly as he raised the sword above his head. The skies started to darken and rain fell down heavily. There lying trapped in the bindings was Monkey D. Luffy unable to escape. Down on the ground Zoro and Sanji did their best to get to their captain. Time to die, Monkey D. Luffy. Now all bear witness to the flashy execution, shouted Buggy, raising his sword high. Zoro and Sanji continued to fight, knowing they needed to hurry. Luffy saw the sword heading for his neck and looked up to smile. Sorry, he started, I'm dead. The Straw Hat Pirate continued to smile as the sword grew closer. Buggy smiled widely as he was about to kill the Straw Hat Pirate who dare mock and humiliate him. It was never to happen, as several pinging were heard as the sword was knocked out of Buggy's hand. If that wasn't enough, a sudden lightning bolt struck the tower, electrocuting the clown. Man, that sure was a close call. Good thing I have semi-perfect aim, grinned Naruto. He had his right hand with his point finger pointed at Buggy. Basically he had made a pistol with his hand. Nice shooting, smirked Zoro. Surround those pirates now, ordered Smoker. The captain was staring at Luffy. He was smiling. Could he have known he would be saved by his crew? No, he had accepted death and prepared for it completely. Only one other man had that smile upon his death. An image of the Pirate King just as he was executed appeared in his head. Down on the ground, Zoro and Sanji caught up to Naruto and Luffy just as 100 Marines came rushing in from all corners. This is so cool. What a large fight, smiled Luffy. The gallows collapsed and out of the debris emerged Luffy. Buggy had swirls in his eyes from just being electrocuted. Hon Gatling gun, smirked Naruto, firing a barrage of bone-fingered digit bullets at the approaching Marines. He could fire 5 at a time at a speed of 5 shots a second. The Marines screamed as they were hit in the legs and arms. Naruto decided not to go for killing shots. We need to get back to the ship, or we will never make it to the Grand Line, stated Sanji, knocking out a pirate and a Marine. Oh? Well, let's get going, said Luffy, taking off. Sanji led the way with Naruto and Luffy taking up the middle while Zoro covered their rear. They ran towards the docks without stopping. Marines were running after them from behind. Sanji's eye gained a heart in it as he looked ahead to see a pretty woman. Oh my, who is that beautiful woman? Yelled the cook. She had her head down as the rain poured. All of them came to a pause as she looked at them through betrayed chocolate brown eyes. You lied to me, yelled Tashigi, glaring at Zoro. What did you do to her? Shouted Sanji angrily at Zoro. The swordsman stepped forward. You never asked my name. I never lied to you, said Zoro simply. That sword doesn't belong in the hands of a scoundrel like you. Unforgivable. I shall confiscate that sword from you, shouted Tashigi, placing her hand on the hilt of her blade. Just try it, smirked Zoro, drawing his blade. The two moved forward, clashing blades against one another. Tashigi glared at Zoro, who continued to smirk. They clashed blades a few more times before Sanji yelled, Zoro, how dare you attack a woman? Yelled Sanji. Stay out of this. Sanji was surprised to hear Tashigi speak. This is a fight between Roronoa and I. No one is to interfere, she finished with a determined look. You heard her. Go, ordered Zoro. Luffy smiled as he ran by with Naruto following. Sanji sent one last warning to Zoro about not harming her before following the other two. They ran ahead knowing that Zoro would be fine. Sanji was more worried about the woman as she was out of her league. The group was almost at the harbor when they came upon another marine, Monkey D. Luffy, I told you would not be going to the Grand Line until you could defeat me, stated Smoker. Oh yeah, I remember you now, smiled Luffy. Play dumb all you want, glared Smoker. Luffy, Sanji, Naruto, go ahead, I can handle this, smiled Luffy confidently. Sanji and Naruto hesitated, but Luffy told them to go again, so they left. Smoker just let them go, knowing that they wouldn't get far in this weather, not when his marines were already at the dock with the cannons. Going merry. Nami gripped the edge of the deck as the rain and wind grew stronger. If the others didn't arrive soon, they would be stuck on the island and she would be out on the sea all alone. Worse, she would be stuck with that idiot Usopp. Nami-chan. I'm back, Ak. She smiled as she recognized that voice anywhere. Her eyes turned toward the dock to see Sanji, and next to him was Naruto. The two were running on the dock, keeping up with the Going Merry that was getting pulled further away from the island. Behind you! Shouted Usopp, pointing at the group of marines. Naruto and Sanji spun around, taking out the marines with ease. However, it seemed for every one they took out, two more showed up. They were like roaches. Suddenly, strong green winds blew through the entire island, blowing everything and everyone. They all got up groggily and looked into the distance. The ship, it is pulling away. We will never get to it now, shouted Usopp. I got it, smiled Luffy. In that way, whenever he got an insane idea, he grabbed a railing and pulled himself very far back. Gomu Gomu no rocket. Sanji, Zoro, Naruto, and Usopp were all grabbed by their crazy captain. They flew through the air towards the Going Merry and collided with its sail, then fell down onto the deck. Luffy laughed happily. Guys, smiled Nami, happy they had made it. A few minutes later they were all aboard. How about a proper toast as we make our way to the Grand Line? Smirked Sanji. He raised his foot and placed it on top of the barrel. To finding all blue. Luffy smirked widely. To become the Pirate King. To become the greatest swordsman. Smirked Zoro, putting his foot up. To draw a map of the world. Beamed Nami. I to become a brave warrior of the sea. Said Usopp. To have the greatest adventure of all time. Grinned Naruto. To the Grand Line. Shouted Luffy as they all raised their legs up high. Holy shit! Dude, that is one huge-ass whale. I mean, I have seen sea kings that don't even compare to this whale, whistled Naruto. Stop admiring it, and help us turn the ship before we all die, yelled Zoro. I got an idea, yelled Luffy, heading beneath the deck. Is this the end? Nami froze in fear as they got closer to the whale. They had just made it down Reverse Mountain, and now they were going to die the moment they entered the Grand Line. It just wasn't fair. Naruto grinned widely while Zoro, Usopp, and Sanji all tried to turn the ship. Suddenly a loud explosion went off and a cannonball hit the whale. Everyone was surprised. The cannon? Yelled everyone. A laughing sound came from Naruto. The ship came to a slow stop with the goat head of the Going Merry breaking off as it tapped the surface of the whale. Nami fell backwards with wide eyes as it came down at her, but a hand grabbed and pulled her up to avoid being crushed. She looked to see Naruto standing there next to her, looking at the ornate head. Man, Luffy is not going to be happy about losing his favorite seat, said Naruto, shaking his head. Hurry, we got to paddle away, yelled Usopp. Luffy ran up from the deck with an angry look in his eyes. My favorite seat. Nami looked at Luffy, praying he didn't do anything stupid. They came up on the left side of the whale, and were going right past its eye when Luffy did something stupid. This is for destroying my favorite seat, shouted Luffy, punching the whale right in its eye. Dude! We are so dead! Grinned Naruto. Everyone froze, hoping the whale didn't feel it, but then its eyes looked right down at the Going Merry. Yeah. And there is more. Luffy never finished when Zoro punched him in the head, knocking him down. Idiot, are you trying to kill us? A loud roar came from the whale as it opened its mouth. The Going Merry was sucked right into its mouth. Luffy fell overboard, thinking quick. He used his Gomu abilities to attach to one of its teeth, then climb onto its head. Inside the whale, no one said anything. Is this real? Said Zoro. Sure feels real, blinked Naruto. I know what I felt and saw. We were swallowed by that whale, said Sanji. There in front of them was an extremely small island with a house on it. They were surrounded by water and above them is a cloud-filled sky. What is with this island and house? Said Nami. Illusions, stated Zoro. The water started to rise and suddenly a squid popped out. Well, that looks like a great big squid, yelled Nami, Sanji, and Usopp. Another illusion, said Zoro. In a second 3 harpoons pierced through the squid, killing it. All looked to see that the harpoons had come from inside the house. A pair of eyes appeared in the doorway. Usopp and Nami started to shiver in fear. I know, I'll use the cannons. No, wait, I think it's a person, said Sanji. A person? Who would live inside a whale? Said Nami. Out of the house came an old man wearing a strange thing on his balding head. He stared at the ship before calmly walked to the lawn chair, taking a seat, and pulling out a paper to read. Hey, you just going to ignore us? Shouted Sanji. The man said nothing as he continued to read. Hey, we got cannons back here. You try anything and we will use them, shouted Usopp from far away. You do that and someone is going to die, stated the man with a hard look. Nami and Usopp shivered in fear. Sanji smirked. Oh yeah? Who is that going to be? Me, of course, said the man simply. Excuse me. You. Sanji stopped when Zoro put a hand on his shoulder. Give it a rest. I don't think the old man is all there. That bastard, he is mocking us, glared Sanji. Zoro smirked. Hey, I got 2 questions. Where are we and who are you? The old man's eyes narrowed and a tense silence followed. Dude, how did you get a recent paper living inside a whale? Everyone's jaws dropped as Naruto stood behind the old man looking over his shoulder at the paper. What the hell are you doing over there? They all yelled. Naruto grinned sheepishly. So loud over there. Idiot! They yelled. Name is Crocus. I am the keeper of the lighthouse at the Cape. I am a Gemini and 71.5 years old, started the old man, not in the least bit perturbed by Naruto's appearance behind him. Now it was Zoro's turn to be angry. The old man is mocking them. I would tell you where you are. But seeing as how you have been so rude, all I will say is that you are trespassing on my private resort. Besides, it should be obvious where you are, seeing as how you were eaten by a whale. Since when does a whale's stomach have clouds? Yelled Nami. Actually, I think this is quite nice. I wonder if it's possible to paint the inside of my stomach like that, wondered Naruto looking down at his stomach. It's a giant mural, yelled Usopp. Call it an old man's hobby, said Crocus. Everyone's sweat dropped. Just tell us, how do we get out of here, yelled Usopp. Crocus pointed. The exit is right over there. All turned to see a giant door and sweat dropped. Alright, let's get going, smiled Naruto. Soon the entire place started to shake and all gripped the edges. What is going on? Grunted Zoro. Look, pointed Nami at the island. It isn't an island but a ship with iron on the bottom. Usopp punched his hand. Of course, the gastric acids would destroy anything wood or flesh. That means we have to get out of here soon. Kind of hard to do with all this shaking, said Nami, gripping the edge. He is angry. This rocking is due to him smashing his head into the red line, said Crocus. Nami's eyes widened. Of course, that explains all those scars on its head that we saw. Why does he do it? Asked Usopp. It's suffering, said Nami. Elsewhere in Laboon, Mr. 9 smirked as he held a bazooka in his hand. All right, Miss Wednesday, remember the plan, baby. This door here leads to the whale's stomach. First we take care of the old man, then we finish off the whale. The man was wearing a green outfit with a king's crown on the top of his head. Standing next to him was a pretty woman who looked to be in her early 20s. She had long blue hair that was up in a ponytail. In her hands she held a bazooka as well. Right, Mr. 9. This whale is a precious creature that will feed our town for years to come, smirked Miss Wednesday. Okay, on 3 we will bust down this door and finish off that old man, smirked Mr. 9. Miss Wednesday nodded. He was about to start the countdown when a screaming sound was heard. Both looked up, wondering what is making that sound. Their eyes widened as a man wearing a straw hat crashed right into them and through the door. They went flying through the air over the gastric acids. It's them again, said Crocus, narrowing his eyes upon Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday. Luffy? Hey Zoro, is everyone okay? yelled Luffy as he sailed through the air. I could use some help. A long white bone extended in front of Luffy. Grab hold, and swing yourself over to the ship, grunted Naruto, kneeling on the ground with a very long bone coming out of the palm of his hand. Luffy grinned as he grabbed the bone and spun around so he was on top of it. The Straw Hat Captain then shot his hand towards the railing of the ship and flew towards it, crashing right into Zoro. Hee hee. Sorry, Zoro, grinned Luffy. Break. So, who are these two and why did you risk your life to save the whale? Asked Nami, looking at Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine, who were struggling to break free. They were all on Crocus's ship now that the whale had calmed down. These two are a couple of thugs from a nearby island. All they care about is using Laboon as food to feed their town, said Crocus. Laboon? Nami raised an eyebrow. Yes, Laboon is the name of the whale. He is an island whale found in the West Blue Ocean. The reason he keeps ramming into the Red Line is because he is waiting for a group of pirates to return to. He has been waiting for the past 50 years, said Crocus. Listen closely, and I will tell you the tale of Laboon. Grand Line. Luffy cheered as they finally made it out of the whale. To wait 50 years. Laboon is a true friend. How can his crew just forget about him? Said Usopp angrily. Don't be an idiot. Chances are they are probably dead, said Zoro. I hate to say it, but he is probably right. The Grand Line had barely been navigated back then compared to now. It was 100 times more treacherous than it is now, said Nami. Crocus shifted his glasses. One should learn from this that reality is cruel. I heard that his crew ended up leaving the Grand Line through the calm belt. A cruel fate they bestowed upon Laboon, never coming back for him and taking the coward's way out. We can speculate all we want on what happened. All turned to look at Naruto, who had finally spoke for the first time since hearing the tale of Laboon's crew. He leaned on the railing with a hard look. Maybe they took the coward's way out. Maybe they were killed at sea. Maybe 1,000 more things happened to them. Guessing and listening to rumors won't tell us the truth. Until we know what happened for sure, we have no right to judge them. Just as no one has the right to judge us on the basis that we are pirates. Things are never how they seem until you know the full story. Smirked Naruto. Laboon believes in them. Who are we to tell him otherwise? Crocus's eyes widened as he looked upon Naruto. Those eyes, those words, they reminded him so much of another man he had met. Ah! Yelled Luffy, running up the whale's back. He was carrying the mast of the Going Merry. What is that idiot doing? Frowned Nami. Who knows, you have to keep an eye on him every minute, said Zoro. Does he realize that is the mast to our ship? Sighed Usopp. Gomu Goma pistol! Yelled Luffy, stabbing the mast into one of Laboon's scars. Laboon's eyes started to water and it roared in pain, causing a massive tidal wave. Naruto laughed loudly. You damn idiot! Yelled the crew. Kick his ass, Luffy! Shouted Naruto, laughing. Crocus's eyes widened as he looked upon Luffy and what he had done. Soon Luffy and Laboon started to fight each other. Laboon charged forward, intent on crushing Luffy. It's a draw. The whale stopped as Luffy stood up and put on his hat. This match is a draw. I am stronger than I look. And one day we will have to finish our battle. I refuse to lose to anybody, so after I am done sailing the Grand Line with my nakama, I am coming back here to kick your ass. Do you got that? Yelled Luffy with a large grin. The whale's eyes started to tear up. It released a loud sound that acknowledged Luffy's challenge. Good. A few minutes later, and Luffy had painted a crude Jolly Roger on Laboon's head over its scars. This will be a promise of our battle. It was done quickly, so make sure not to hit your head or it will come off, smirked Luffy. Laboon released a loud noise in understanding. Break. Luffy and Naruto stuffed their faces as they ate the blue-finned elephant tuna that Sanji had prepared. While they were eating, Crocus started to explain to Nami how things worked. Did you all come here to die? It is obvious you came here with no knowledge of how the Grand Line works, said Crocus. What do you mean? Gasped Nami. Things like common sense and the currents of the sea don't matter here. The Grand Line is the most dangerous place in the world, and I just don't mean because of all the other pirates out there. What makes it so dangerous is that it is impossible to navigate using a regular compass. Only a log pose can navigate through the Grand Line. It is specially designed to pick up the magnetic fields produced by a powerful magnetic field that surrounds each island, said Crocus. Wait, if we don't have a way to navigate through the Grand Line, then we are screwed, stated Nami. Usopp yelled, You are the navigator, navigate us through it. If you need a log pose, I got one, said Naruto, causing everyone to look at him. He tossed the strange-looked wristwatch at Nami. It was a round hourglass with a needle in the middle. Hey, I got one of those too, said Luffy holding out an identical wristwatch. How the hell did you two get these? Yelled Nami. Bought it, answered Naruto. Found it, answered Luffy. Nami's eyes twitched. You bastards, you ate the whole elephant tuna! Yelled Sanji with a horror-filled look in his eyes. Naruto and Luffy grinned. Delicious. I wanted Nami to try it. Get her some then. Yeah. Sanji seethed in anger and delivered a spinning kick, sending them both flying into Nami. They collided into Nami, destroying both log poles. Nami clenched her fists, and in a blur started to beat up all three men. You idiots! Now we will never be able to leave here! She yelled, covering them in bruises. Crocus laughed. Not to worry, I have a spare one you can have. Nami's eyes lit up in delight. Hey, we need a favor. All turned around to see Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday. Journey to Whiskey Peak. The most awesome snowman! Yelled Luffy proudly. Please, what I have created is a true piece of art, smirked Usopp, pointing at the beautiful snow mermaid. Luffy's eyes widened in awe. No way, mine is the best, grinned Naruto. There, standing next to Naruto, was a snowman twice the size of the one that Luffy had made, with buff muscles and an arrogant smirk on its face. All over its body were spikes, Naruto's bones, giving it a badass appearance. Cool! Grinned Luffy. Snowman punch. Usopp's mermaid had its head blown off. Naruto started to laugh before firing one of his snowman's spikes destroyed Luffy's snowman's head. He stopped laughing when a snowball took off his own snowman's head. The three then got into a snow war, every man for themselves. A scream came from the galley interrupting their fun. Nami burst out of the galley and started to scream. Turn the ship 180 degrees port side. What is going on? Asked Naruto. Yeah, we are on the same course, blinked Luffy. No, the currents have spun us around, started Nami when thunder and lightning filled the skies. It soon started to rain heavily. Hurry, or we will get lost in this storm. Everyone started to do as she ordered except for Zoro, who managed to sleep through the whole thing. A couple hours later, they were all lying on the deck tired. Zoro yawned as he woke up from his nap. You all sure are being lazy on such a beautiful day, stated Zoro, ignoring the fact that he had just been sleeping himself. Zoro glanced to see the two that had tried to kill Laboon on board the ship. Why are these two here with us? He asked. Taking them to their town, Whiskey Peak, answered Luffy. Why, we don't owe them any favors, he stated, glancing down at the two who shifted nervously. Nope, nothing, smiled Luffy. Whatever, I don't care, shrugged Zoro. He then smirked as he leaned forward. By the way, what did you say your names were again? Mr. 9, Miss Wednesday. Oh? I feel like I have heard those names before. He noticed them start to sweat and took a seat down across from them. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Nami punched Zoro on top of the head. What was that for? Demanded Zoro. His eyes widened as Nami was surrounded by flames of anger. You dare sleep no matter how many times we try to wake you. Baka! Several more punches were delivered and Zoro fell to the ground with a knocked-out look in his eyes. Oi, land ho! Shouted Luffy with a large smile. All turned to see a large island coming up as they broke through the fog. Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9 smirked as they leapt onto the railing in identical poses. Thank you for the lift, but it is time we get going, smirked Mr. 9. Yes, perhaps we will meet again, but until then, smiled Miss Wednesday. Bye-bye, baby. They both said as they leapt overboard into the water, then started to swim towards the island. Strange people, blinked Usopp. They were really in sync, said Naruto with an impressed look. Nami bopped him over the head. This island won't have monsters, will it? Trembled Usopp. Naruto grinned. I hope so. If it does, then we will leave, said Luffy simply. Naruto pouted at hearing that. We can't, frowned Nami. Oh, why not? Luffy tilted his head in confusion. Because the log pose has to have time to adapt to the island's magnetic field. Each island is different, but we can't leave until we get the next set of magnetic coordinates, explained Nami. Zoro yawned. Oh well, then we just stay until we get the coordinates. No point in wasting time worrying about it. Yeah, I will protect Nami-chan from anything out there, stated Sanji with his hard eye. Alright then, let's go! Shouted Luffy excitedly. Whiskey Peak. The Straw Hat Pirates broke through the fog to find a most curious sight. Loud cheers, flashes of camera, and music filled their ears. The entire island had come out to welcome them. Everyone was welcoming them with large smiles. Even the mayor had come out. Come, we must celebrate your arrival, smiled the mayor. Yosh, let's do it! Yelled Luffy, Sanji, Naruto, and Usopp. Nighttime rolled around and the entire crew had participated in the drinking, eating, and all-around celebration. The whole village had turned out to celebrate. Zoro and Nami were drinking their fill to win the 100,000 berry prize money for the person to be the last one standing after drinking the most. Luffy and Naruto had ate so much that 4 cooks had fainted from overexertion. Sanji was wooing over 20 women at a time. Soon all the Straw Hat Pirates had passed out from the festivities. Outside, the so-called mayor smirked. "So, I see you managed to meet the new guests, Mayor Ingram." Or Mr. 8, smirked Mr. 9 from on top of the tavern. Miss Wednesday stood next to him before the two leapt down. Mr. 8 turned around with a large smile. "Yes, they are passed out inside as we speak. The town is already on a food shortage and I had a feeling you wouldn't be able to complete your mission," stated Mr. 8. Miss Wednesday flushed in embarrassment. "You don't have to go saying it like that," shouted Mr. 9 angrily. The back door to the tavern opened up and out walked a large nun with dark skin. She had been the final one Nami had beat in the drinking contest. Or so the young navigator had thought. How annoying. We had to put in much more alcohol towards the end there. I say we should have killed them the moment they landed. What could those 5 children done to us? Scowled the woman, tossing off the nun uniform to reveal a very muscular body wearing a polka-dot dress. Mr. 8 cleared his throat. "Miss Monday, do not speak so hastily, those pirates are more than they appeared." He reached into his coat jacket and pulled out a wanted poster. It had Monkey D. Luffy's face on it and 30 million berry bounty beneath the picture. 30 million berry. They yelled except for Mr. 8. Mr. 8 nodded as he put the wanted posters back in his shirt. "If we kill them we only get 30% of the bounty. The world government enjoys their public executions," frowned Mr. 8 with obvious distaste. "I apologize," bowed Miss Monday. "So what do we do now?" asked Miss Wednesday. "Go! Capture them alive!" ordered Mr. 8. "Hey, sorry to interrupt." All of them were stunned as they turned around to see the swordsman sitting on top of the building with his sword raised. He had a large smirk on his face. "But could you let them sleep a bit longer? They had a long trip this afternoon, and could use the rest." The doors opened from behind the tavern and 2 men ran out. "Sir, the one with the green hair and swords has disappeared," shouted the man. "He's up there," glared Miss Wednesday. "Fiend! You should have been knocked out with all the drinking you have done," glared Mr. 8. Zoro smirked. "No true swordsman, no matter how weak or strong, will ever allow himself to be knocked out by a mere drink." His smirk widened as he watched as the whole town came out, all carry weapons, from pistols to swords, to weapons he had never even seen. "I see what is going on here. This is a bounty hunter's nest. You deceive merry pirates as they come in from the Grand Line, then take them for all they're worth." The swordsman stood up. "Must be roughly 100 bounty hunters here. I'll take you all on." His eyes narrowed. "Baroque Works. How do you know that name?" yelled Mr. 8, who along with the others were surprised by this pirate's knowledge. "A while back when I was in this line of work, I was offered a position. I refused, of course. Members who don't even know each other except by code names. Not to mention the boss's identity and location are a mystery even to its members. A criminal organization that faithfully carries out the orders of its leader, Baroque Works," finished Zoro with a wide smirk. Mr. 8 started to speak with his head lowered. "This is surprising, but since you know our secret we have no choice but to eliminate you, and add another gravestone to the great cactus rock." His head raised and he smirked widely. "Come on then," smirked Zoro. "Kill him!" yelled Mr. 8. His eyes widened in horror along with everyone else as Zoro was nowhere to be seen. They all looked around searching for the two. "Ah!" yelled one of the bounty hunters as Zoro stood in the middle of them pretending to look around as well. A smirk appeared on the swordsman's face. "Ready?" smirked Zoro. "Bastard, you dare mock us!" "Shoot him!" they shouted. A group of 10 bounty hunters on each side raised their guns and fired, but screamed as they only hit each other. Zoro had once again disappeared. They once again looked all over for the green-haired swordsman. "Tell me," said Zoro as the sword pointed right at Mr. 8's neck, "do you really think that you will only have to add just 1 gravestone?" Soon guns were pointed at him and Mr. 8 drew his own weapon, firing his shotgun of an instrument. 7 bounty hunters dropped dead, but Zoro was nowhere in sight. "I found the swordsman!" shouted a new voice. "It is only a matter of time now before he is dead," smirked Mr. 8 as Miss Monday went to go help. Zoro smirked as he drew his newest blades and started to take them for a test run. With a single swing he took out 6 bounty hunters. Kitetsu, huh? Looks like you are going to be a problem child. Got him, yelled a bounty hunter holding a bazooka. He was about to fire when a bone pierced through it, and it exploded in the bounty hunter's hands. Now you are just being selfish, hogging all these bounty hunters to yourself. Zoro and the bounty hunters looked up to see Naruto standing on top of the building with a fox-like grin. A bunch of weaklings like this. I don't need any help, smirked Zoro. Naruto grinned. Bet I can take out more than you. Kill them both. You're on, yelled Zoro, charging towards a group of bounty hunters. Time to show you it wasn't a fluke, smirked Naruto, making pistols with both his fingers. He took careful aim. Hon pistol. A barrage of bone-finger bullets took down 7 bounty hunters. A large grin appeared on Naruto's face as 2 bone handles emerged from his shoulders. In a blur, another group of bounty hunter fell to the ground from multiple cuts. Why did everyone assume that Zoro is the only swordsman? No respect, no respect. A loud explosion made Naruto look up to see that muscular black woman get taken down. Heck, Zoro didn't even have to use his swords. Naruto fired several more finger bullets before running up, jumping from roof to roof. He smirked as he finally one of the leaders, Mr. 9 if he remembered the man's name correctly. Hey dude, I'll be your opponent, grinned Naruto, blocking Mr. 9's path. Fool, you will fall to my acrobatics, smirked Mr. 9, flipping forward at impressive speeds. Mr. 9 then withdrew his steel bats and struck. His bats were blocked by Naruto's bone swords. Not bad, but you still need some work, smirked Naruto, moving at even faster speeds. Mr. 9 barely managed to keep up. What's that matter? Where are your acrobatics now? Just you wait. Here Mr. 9 flipped right back into a wall. Naruto's sweat dropped a bit, having a hard time believing the man just did that. Didn't he know how to pay attention to his environment? That was just sad. You okay, dude? Asked Naruto, poking the man with his sword, but got no response. Don't count us out yet, you still haven't seen what I can do, smirked Miss Wednesday. She stood on top of an overgrown duck and raised her hands up. Time for my perfume dance. A strong, pungent smell started to fill the air as Miss Wednesday swung her hips in an alluring manner. Naruto just stood there and blinked. Miss Wednesday started to sweat nervously as nothing happened to the man. You know, you are a pretty good belly dancer. It makes you look really hot, grinned Naruto. A light blush heated Miss Wednesday's cheeks and she momentarily paused in her attack. Quiet. Flattery will not have me spare your life. Now go Karu, Peacock Crusher, ordered Miss Wednesday, spinning around a strange weapon that Naruto had never seen. He stepped to the side and Karu and Miss Wednesday went crashing into the wall behind him, just like Mr. 9. Tell me, does Baroque Works ever capture any pirates? Or do they just turn themselves in after being annoyed from all y'all attacks? Asked Naruto with a raised eyebrow. Ah! A scream was heard and Naruto looked up. He stepped to the side as Mr. 8 crashed into the ground with a cut across his chest. That makes 53, smirked Zoro. That isn't fair, you started taking them out before I was awake, yelled Naruto. Whatever, you lose, shrugged Zoro. He pulled out a bottle of wine and started to drink from it. This isn't over, glared Naruto. They didn't say any more as they sensed a new presence and turned around. There walked towards them were 2 people. One was a cute woman with short blonde hair, a yellow dress, and a matching umbrella. The other was a black man wearing a brown trench coat and coal black eyes. One was a tall black man with curly black hair, and standing next to him was a pretty blonde woman with an umbrella. How pathetic, you 3 being beat by these 2, stated the black man. Mr. 5, Miss Valentine, wheezed Mr. 9 with a smile. Finally, reinforcements had arrived. Mr. 5 said nothing while Miss Valentine laughed. Have you come here to laugh at us or help? Grunted Mr. 8. Miss Valentine started to laugh. The 2 Straw Hat Pirates remained calm, not in the least bit intimidated. Fool, we didn't get set out to the front lines to help you take care of some weak no-name pirates. We have come here because the boss told us someone knew his secret. Seeing as how our organization revolves around secrecy, this cannot be tolerated. So we did some investigation and guess where it led us? Said Mr. 5. Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday suddenly started to shake a bit in fear. Naruto and Zoro didn't fail to notice this, earning their curiosity. Ha ha, it led us right to members of the King's Court, Captain of the Royal Guard Ingram and the missing Princess Neferati Vivi, said Mr. 5, holding out the picture of a woman that looked exactly like Miss Wednesday. I will not let you harm the princess, yelled Mr. 8 standing up and pulling his bow tie, firing the cannons hidden in his curls. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine didn't even bother to move as they were hit and caught in the explosion. Run, Vivi! Now! Miss Wednesday had tears in her eyes but nodded as she hopped on Kuro and took off. We should help, said Naruto. Why? I don't know, it seems like the right thing to do. We are pirates, since when do we start to do the right thing? Besides, best not to get involved in affairs that don't involve us, said Zoro nonchalantly. Yeah, but still, I always wanted to save a princess, grinned Naruto. Zoro slapped his forehead. Please! Both turned down to see Mr. 8 crawl towards them. Please, I beg of you, help Princess Vivi, all is lost. Naruto smiled while Zoro shook his head. Sure, I'll help. Wait! All turned to see Nami sitting on the edge of a small building. She had a large smile on her face. Zoro is right. We are pirates. If we are going to help, it should be for money, grinned Nami. He already left, said Zoro, pointing at the empty spot next to him. No! Yelled Nami. Naruto was ruining her plans to make a fortune. She is a freaking princess, that meant she had to be loaded. Stupid Naruto. Princess Vivi. Miss Monday! Yelled Vivi in horror. Now 2 of her friends were dead and all she could do is run. They weren't really friends, but they did fight for her, and that counted for something. Mr. 5 came walking out of the dust with a booger on his finger. Time to die, princess. He flicked the booger right at her, and she had no time to dodge. A small projectile hit the booger 10 feet away from the princess, causing it to explode prematurely. When the explosion died down, there stood Naruto in front of Vivi. Dude, that is disgusting. You are a grown man. Why are you still picking your nose? Said Naruto, shaking his head. I don't know who you are, but if you don't stand aside then you will die with her, said Mr. 5 coldly. Miss Valentine started to laugh. I say we kill him anyway. Why are you helping me? Asked Vivi, surprised. You're cute and you did do a nice dance for me, winked Naruto. A blush heated Vivi's cheeks. But mostly because that dude with all the curls asked me to. Another booger came flying at Naruto, but he shot it out of the air just as he did the last one. He then raised his hand up and fired all 5 finger bones at Miss Valentine, who is floating the air high above him. Her umbrella was shot out of her hand just as she got over him. Take this, 10,000 kilo! She shouted angrily. Naruto blinked as bone spikes burst out all over his body. Miss Valentine's eyes widened as she realized what would happen if she landed on those spikes. She quickly lowered her weight to 1 pound, causing her to slow down. That is exactly what Naruto planned as he jumped up and delivered a powerful kick to her face. Vivi's eyes widened in awe as Miss Valentine was knocked through a building. The bones retracted back inside Naruto as he landed on the ground. As he touched the ground, he pivoted on his foot and delivered a spinning back kick to Mr. 5's face. Mr. 5 went flying through 2 buildings before coming to a stop. I thought they were supposed to be stronger, blinked Naruto, scratching the back of his head. He took them both out with 1 hit apiece, thought Vivi in awe. A yawn escaped Naruto as he stretched out his arms. Okay, let's get going, princess. No point in staying here, said Naruto, walking away. Kuro looked at Vivi, who nodded, and the 2 followed after the strange man who could manipulate his bones. An hour later, Luffy had woke up and almost attacked Zoro and Naruto for attacking the grateful villagers who fed them. Nami fortunately knocked some sense into Luffy, literally, and Princess Vivi started to explain everything to the 4 members of the Straw Hat Pirates. She told them that she came from the kingdom of Arbasta, a small kingdom that was about to be split by civil war. That's the Baroque Works who were inciting the insurgents. She had joined Baroque Works to infiltrate the criminal organization and find out who was responsible. Nami tried to get her not to tell them who the leader of the organization was, but it slipped out anyway. Crocodile, one of the 7 warlord pirates of the sea. Not only that, but 2 messengers were listening in on the conversation and drew pictures of them before flying off to warn Crocodile. Now all of them would be wanted by this group. Zoro, Naruto, go get Sanji and Usopp so we can get out of here, said Nami after she finished crying about it not being fair. Zoro grumbled while Naruto smiled, going to see if there was any food left. Zoro tossed Usopp aboard while Naruto dropped Sanji on the upper deck. Both turned to see Kuro already on the ship. It gave them a quack and they shrugged their shoulders. Right as they finished getting them aboard, a large explosion went off in the distance. It was huge. Looks like Baroque Works is a bit more resourceful than we thought, stated Zoro. Do you think they have stronger members? I mean, the ones we faced were pretty weak. I really want to fight strong people, frowned Naruto, a bit upset. Who knows, but I understand how you feel, shrugged Zoro. Hey, are Usopp and Sanji aboard? Yelled Nami, running towards the ship. Yep, nodded Zoro. We even got a duck in case you all get hungry, smiled Naruto, pointing at Kuro, whom started to sweat in fear. Everyone hopped on board the Going Merry and the ship set sail. They traveled through the dense fog, careful not to hit those rocks. I know, thanks, smiled Nami. She suddenly froze. Was that you, Naruto? Naruto tilted his head in confusion. They all turned around to see a beautiful woman wearing a purple cowgirl outfit. She sat on the railing of the deck and had a smile on her face. Who are you? Why are you on my ship? Asked Luffy. It's you! Gasped Vivi. Hello, Miss Wednesday, or should I call you Princess Vivi? Smiled the woman. You know her? Asked Zoro. Hi, she is Miss All Day Sunday, glared Vivi. Nami blinked. Whose partner is she? Mr. Zero, the boss of Baroque Works, Crocodile, answered Vivi. Nami started to shake in fear, as just the idea of a pirate warlord after them was not something she liked one bit. Hi, tell me, how is Mr. 8 doing? Smiled Miss Sunday. That smile, the same smile he wore when he was little. This woman, she was not everything she was pretending to be. He relaxed. She was not here to start any trouble. You killed Ingram? Yelled Vivi. Miss Sunday merely smiled. The sound of a gun clicking was heard as Sanji and Usopp appeared on either side of her while Zoro grabbed the hilt of his sword. You know what is going on, Sanji? Asked Usopp. No idea, but it seems Miss Sunday is in a spot of trouble, replied Sanji. A smile appeared on Miss Sunday's face before an invisible force knocked Sanji and Usopp away from her. Zoro, Naruto, and Luffy were sent skidding backwards as well. Please don't put your weapons at me. They are quite dangerous, smiled Miss Sunday. Devil fruit user, shivered Vivi in fear. Miss Sunday continued to smile as Luffy's hat suddenly left his head. It landed on her head and he started to yell. She ignored him as she addressed Vivi. Here, this is for you, she said, tossing an eternal pose at Vivi. The princess caught it and gave Miss Sunday a confused look. What is this? Vivi asked. An eternal pose for the island closest to Arbasta. The next island you are on way to is known as Little Garden, a very dangerous island. Best to stay away from it. That eternal pose will lead you down a path that none of the Baroque work agents know about it, explained Miss Sunday. How do we know you are telling the truth? Asked Nami. It sounds like a trap to me, said Zoro. A shattering sound was heard and all looked to see Luffy had destroyed the eternal pose. Nami hit him in the head. You idiot, we could have used that. You are not the one who decides where this ship goes, said Luffy, firmly looking right at Miss Sunday. She tossed his hat back to him. Too bad. Perhaps the next time we meet things between us will be different. Miss Sunday smiled. No, said Luffy childishly. Miss Sunday laughed a bit as she hopped off the deck and landed on a giant turtle. She waved goodbye to everyone as her turtle disappeared into the distance. Bye, waved Naruto, earning him a punch in the head from Nami.